Well, hello again, my name is Aziz Ikhlif, I'm a high school English teacher, and today's class is for Common Core Year students. It's a grammar lesson talking about the simple past. Well, if time is a line, then we can put three types of time in the English language. And we would start with number one, which is the present, then the future, and the past. Well, today we'll be focusing on the past. Maybe next time we can see the present and the future. Well, the English tense, present, means now. But if we are talking about something that happened before now, then we need to mention a new tense, which is called the past. But which type of past? Because we have different types of past. Well, today we will focus only on one, which is the simple past. Now, when we say tense, we also mean action. We also mean verb, something that happens. Now, if it's happening now, it's the present. But if it happened before the present, it's the past. Now, if the action is short, it happened and finished, then it's what we call the simple past. In a diagram, in a timeline, that would be the action would be like this. Very simple. Simple past verb. I'll give you an example in a sentence. Well, look at this. Yesterday, which is the past, well, this is a time, well, this is an expression of time, which tells you that it's the past. You will know immediately it's the past. Now, I will give you a subject. My brother went to hospital. Okay, the sentence is clear, and we have a subject, which is the doer of the action. Who? It's my brother. What did your brother do? Went to hospital. So the verb is went. But when you go to the list of verbs, you will not find the verb went in its infinitive form like this. Actually, the original verb is go. So what we basically do is we conjugate the verb go in the simple past, because yesterday my brother went to hospital. It's not now, it's yesterday. So the action is in the past. Now, this is the simple past. Well, in general, we use the simple past when we talk about an action that is short and finished. Another example of that, last week. Okay, the subject, the doer, is we, and time is last week, so we know it's the past. But which past? It's the past simple, because the action is short and finished. We played football. That's it. We didn't say how long we have been playing football. Don't give information for how long you played football. Well, when we are talking about verbs, one verb is very special. It's an exception. When we conjugate it, it has a different form than all other verbs, and that is the verb to be. So we will focus first on the verb to be. The verb to be is different in the simple past. Looking at the following example, we have an expression of time, 2 days ago, I, the subject, and the verb was. Well, that's the verb to be in the simple past. Conjugate the verb to be in the simple past and you have was. For other verbs, it goes the same. You have to conjugate the verb too. For example, the verb go. Well, last week, we went to England. The one that is in red is the verb, and that's the verb go in the simple past. Now, so far, everything is clear. Conjugate the verb like this. There is a rule of all the verbs and how they have to be conjugated. Now, there are two types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Irregular verbs change the form, and there is a list of all the irregular verbs and how they change the form. Regular verbs, you can just add ed to them, and that's it. But now things are going to be different. When you want to say no, 2 days ago, I sick. So I need to make the negative. It goes like this. I wasn't. Well, we can say wasn't or was not. This is a contraction. Short form, long form. Wasn't sick. That's the negative. But for other verbs, it's different. You can't add not to the verb directly. It's not correct. Look, last week, you can't say went not. Well, logically, you should add not to the verb, but no, that's not correct. Don't say last week we went not. Not correct. What we have to do is bring another verb that can help the verb go in negative. And you have to say, last week we didn't go. It's not didn't went. Don't say didn't went, didn't go. Put the verb back to infinitive. So add didn't plus the original verb and don't change the verb. Now, when you have a question, it's different. Now, you have to switch place of the verb to be with the subject. Was I. We call it subject-verb inversion. Well, we have that in other verbs, but not with the main verb. For example, go. No, we do that with the verb did. Well, for other verbs, when you want to make a question, start with did. All the time. Always start with did. Unless you have a WH word like where, when, you can say when did or where did. But if you don't have where or when or what, you can use the verb directly. Did plus subject, we, and the verb not changed. Go. It's not went. No, go. Well, to sum it up, this is how you make sentences in the simple past with the verb to be and with other verbs in affirmative, negative, and interrogative question. Talking about the simple past, verbs can be categorized into two, regulars or irregulars. The word regular means normal. So, a normal verb is a verb to which you add ed in the simple past. That's very easy. So I will give you some examples and you have to look for the others. I can't give you everything, of course. You have to take them all by yourself. So you have to take them all by yourself. So the following 5 examples are regular verbs that which you have to add ed. Jump, jumped. Stop, look at this. Stopped. Now, as you can see, there is a double P. Well, we will explain this in the last part. Try, look at this too. Tried. As you can see, Y changed to I, and then we added ed. Irregular verbs, on the other side, change the form. They all change their form, or they change nothing. I'll give you an example. Well, the verb to be in the past has two forms. You can say, I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. But for other verbs, most of them, they have just one form. Now, go becomes went. Think becomes thought. Thought. Cut doesn't change. Caught, it's still the same. Caught, caught. But it's irregular because we don't add ed. Now, speak, spoke. As I want to mention, there is a big list of irregular verbs that you have to take by heart. You need to remember them, speak and use them. Of course, if you know the list of irregular verbs, you will automatically know the list of regular verbs. Now, we can go back to the first example of the verb stop. There is a rule in English that says for regular verbs that have a consonant, vowel, and consonant. By the way, vowels are O, U, E, I, and A. So if the verb has a consonant and a vowel and a consonant, if the rule of CVC is there, double the P and then add ed. So we double the last letter. I'll give you another example. Another example, the verb knit. Well, your grandmother knits socks for you sometimes. Okay, now the verb knit has the CVC rule, which is C, consonant, I, which is a vowel, and then N, which is a consonant, a normal letter. Now, of course, I am going to double the T and then add ed. Another rule is with verbs that end in Y, and they are regular verbs like try. There is a Y, but before the Y, there is a consonant. So what we have to do is change the Y into I, and then we can add ed. Well, this does not happen with verbs that have Y, but vowel. Goes like played. You see the difference? Well, that was it in the simple past. As a small exercise, you will have sentences like this. Now, yesterday is an expression of time, then the subject, and then you have the verb plus not, which means the sentence is negative. So, go back to the rules, go back to the lesson, and conjugate the verb to be in negative in the simple past. That will give you I was or wasn't. So we can say was not or wasn't. Number 2, you call me 2 days ago. Now 2 days ago, of course, is the past, and you have a question mark because we're going to start with the verb. So this one is interrogative. So what you're going to do is always see the verb. Is it regular? Is it irregular? Is it the verb to be? Now we have call, regular verb. So you're going to add ed, but you have a question. You don't need ed now. You just need did. When you go back to the lesson, you will understand why we use did. Did plus the subject, you, and the verb, call. Call, not cold, even if. Well, next one is a negative sentence with an irregular verb, but if it's negative or interrogative, it doesn't matter anymore because we're going to use didn't or did. So, we didn't meet. Thank you so much for paying attention.